All right, today we're diving into a total game changer for business owners, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. This book hinges on one single powerful idea that explains exactly why so many businesses are struggling and, more importantly, what you can do to fix it. Let's get right to it.
So let's start with a really honest question. Does it ever feel like you're trapped? You started a business to chase freedom, but now you're just stuck in a job you can't ever quit, working more hours than you ever have before, for a boss who's an absolute tyrant. You.
And look, if you're feeling that, you're not alone. The numbers here are just brutal. A staggering 80% of small businesses don't make it past the 5-year mark. That's a huge number, and it really begs the question, why? What's going on here?
Well, according to Gerber, it's not about a lack of passion or hard work. It's not usually a bad market or a lack of funding either. The real culprit is something much deeper. It's a single, fatal assumption that almost everyone makes.
And there it is, the entrepreneurial myth, or the E-myth. It's the belief that just because you're a fantastic baker, you automatically know how to run a bakery business. Or because you're a brilliant coder, you know how to run a software company. But here's the hard truth. Being good at the technical work is a completely different skill set from being good at the business itself.
To really get why this assumption is so dangerous, we have to look inside the mind of the typical business owner because, well, there's a war going on in there.
See, Gerber says that every single business owner is actually 3 people in one. You've got the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. And the real problem? These 3 are almost never working together.
And this visual just lays it all out perfectly. For most small business owners, the technician, that's the doer, the person who loves the hands-on work, is running the entire show. They make up like 70% of you. Then you have the manager, who likes order and planning, at a measly 20%. And the entrepreneur, the visionary, they're just a tiny 10%. The doer is completely silencing the dreamer.
And this right here is the heart of the conflict. Your inner entrepreneur is looking way out at the horizon, asking the big questions. Where is this all going? What's the vision? But the technician, they can't even hear that because they're buried in the here and now, just thinking, what's the next task on the list? It's the ultimate trap.
This line from the book just hits so hard. It's what he calls an entrepreneurial seizure. You take the craft you love, the thing you were so passionate about, and you accidentally turn it into the worst job you've ever had. You don't own a business, you own a job. So, how in the world do you break out of this cycle? The solution Gerber proposes is, it's a really profound shift in your mindset. It's about completely changing what you think of as work.
And here it is, the big idea. Working in the business means you're acting like an employee. You're baking the bread, writing the code, meeting the clients. But working on the business, that's when you act like the architect. You're building the systems and the processes that allow the business to run without you.
The end goal here is to build what he calls a franchise prototype. Think about a massive franchise like McDonald's. Their success doesn't come from hiring thousands of genius chefs, right? No way. It comes from having a system that's so incredibly well designed that ordinary people can step in and produce consistent, high-quality results. The system is the real product.
This really should be the new job description for every business owner. Your primary role is not to be the best doer of the thing. Your job is to build a machine, a system, so that the machine can do the work for you. You have to fire yourself from being an employee.
And the book actually gives you a roadmap. First, you get crystal clear on your own vision. What do you want your life to look like? Then, you design the org chart for the future version of your company. After that, you document everything, every single process in an operations manual. And finally, you start hiring people to run the systems that you've so carefully built. You're essentially replacing yourself with a system, one piece at a time.
Now look, all of this sounds incredible. And it is. But we need a reality check here. Putting the E-Myth philosophy into practice is, well, it's not exactly a walk in the park.
So you have to be realistic. This book is an amazing framework. It gives you the what and the why. But it's not going to give you a step-by-step formula for your specific industry. That's on you. And the biggest challenge, honestly, is internal. You have to unlearn being the hero who does everything. That's a huge long-term project. And maybe the hardest part of all, you have to be willing to let go of control, which is incredibly tough for any founder who's used to doing it all themselves.
And that brings us right back to the central idea, doesn't it? This is the one truth that every single business owner has to face. Your technical skill, as amazing as it might be, is just not enough. In fact, sometimes it can be the very thing holding you back.
So after all this struggle, the system building, the mindset shift, the letting go, what's the point? What's the big prize at the end of all this work?
Well, it's pretty simple. The whole point of a business should be to serve your life, not the other way around. When you build a business that runs on systems, you're not just building a company, you're building an asset. An asset that gives you the one thing you were probably looking for from the very beginning: freedom.
And that's really the final question, isn't it? Take a good, hard look at what you've created. Is it an asset that serves you and your life's goals? Or have you just built yourself a job you can never, ever leave?
If you want to dive deeper into this framework, and I highly recommend you do, you can find a link to the E-Myth Revisited right in the description below.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives just like this one. We'll see you in the next one.